Hi, this is Speaking Through the Fog. I'm Miranda, and I'm doing the mini-series You Don't Look Like You're Sick. Right now I'm still talking about some of my symptoms, and I broke them down into smaller pieces by actual symptoms so that they'd be easier and more interesting to watch. That you're not watching me just ramble on for 15 minutes. So this one's about when I pass out. And I do pass out, and it's a really weird phenomenon because it's scary to see, and I feel like maybe I don't go fully unconscious. If I do go unconscious, it's maybe for a second or two. It's happened more and more frequently the last few years. I have times where I'm better, where I won't have passed out more for like maybe a month. Sometimes I'm so bad I'm passing out every day, or 2 or 3 or 4 times a day. And it's almost like the fogginess and the brain, like my vertigo and my fatigue and just a whole bunch of my symptoms, the overstimulation, all of that just kind of started building up and building up and building up. And I'm usually doing something that's kind of arduous, like for me at least, making dinner or walking around a store or doing something that requires a little bit more activity than I'm usually doing. Well, I do those things every day, despite not I probably shouldn't do them, but I do them anyways. But they're more than it brings my heart rate up or whatever. And people who've seen it say I turn sheet white and I break out in a cold sweat, and I start to say I feel kind of weird. And they said usually they go, oh, do you need to sit down? And I will say, no, I'll be fine. And then 2 seconds later, poof, I'm on the floor. And I say it's almost like a router where the like internet's slow or something. It's like my brain's almost like, you're not getting the information correctly. Let's shut down and restart it really fast and see if that works. So it just shuts down my brain for 2 seconds and then I'm back, and or like somebody cut the strings on a puppet, I'm like, walking around fine and then poof, I just fall. So I did that one time at work where I almost fell into a 550-degree pizza oven, and I've fallen sometimes, and one time and fell in the top corner of the back of the couch and cracked my ribs on it and really hurt myself. I would never ever ever want to break my ribs again. It really freaking hurt. But so I'm like actually getting really super hurt doing this. It's scary enough to see that I actually one time fainted in front of my primary care doctor, and she had kind of been taking me seriously before, but again, all of my symptoms are really internal, so she wasn't thinking it was a big deal. And I told her I was passing out, but most people don't know what I mean when I say that. So when I went down in front of her, she was like, oh my God, this is like really bad. And she started sending me to all these specialists and ordering all these tests, and she was actually taking me seriously. It's kind of frustrating to me that it has to get to the point where people have to see me pass out before they believe I'm sick. But a lot of times that's what has to happen. And I think in a way it's because it's the most physical external symptom that I have, that show people don't just faint out of nowhere all the time, and people are like, oh, that's not normal. And I'm like, yeah, well, there's lots of things not normal. That's not the only thing. This doesn't happen all the time. It's my stuff in my brain that's like the worst. And they're like, no, the fainting, that's what I'm focusing on. So anyways, that's the fainting section of Speaking Through the Fog, and I will see you next time to talk about another one of my symptoms.